Hey everyone, we are back. We're going to continue on in Nehemiah chapter 3 today. And I want to encourage you to leave comments and share as you're reading along and as God speaks to you through Nehemiah chapter 3. We love having that conversation going on through the comments. And so Nehemiah chapter 3, he's arrived in Jerusalem. God has called Nehemiah and put on his heart the desire to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem that have been destroyed and burned by fire. The gates burned, the walls destroyed, and it's been about 100 years now almost, and they're still destroyed. So now Nehemiah has returned. Chapter 2, he surveyed and examined everything that needs to be done, just how bad the situation is. And in chapter 3, he is about to get started. And he does something amazing in this book. He rebuilds the walls of Jerusalem in just 52 days, right? Less than 2 months he does this, which is, again, a testament of what spiritual leadership can do. Right, when you're dedicated, but how did he do that? How did he do something in 52 days that they hadn't been able to do, in years? Well, chapter 3, and we may not read all of it because it's very repetitive, but listen to what it says. Eliashib, the high priest and fellow priests, went to work to rebuild the sheep gate. They dedicated it and set its doors in place, building as far as the Tower of the 100, which they dedicated, and as far as the Tower of Hananel. The men of Jericho built the adjoining section, and Zakur, son of Imri, built the next to them. The fish gate was rebuilt by the sons of Hassanah. They laid its beams and put its doors and bolts and bars in place. Meremoth, the son of Uriah, the son of Hakkoz, repaired the next section. Next to him, Meshushalam, son of Berechiah, the son of Mehezabel, made repairs, and next to him, Zadok, son of Bana, also made repairs. The next section was repaired by the men of Tekoa, but their nobles would not put their shoulders to the work under their supervisors. So now, for the first time, there is one group of people that is not working, but everybody else is. In verse 6, the Jehoshaphat gate was repaired by Joiada, son of Paseah, and Meshushalam, son of Besodiah. They laid its beams and put its doors and the bolts in place. So now you get in the picture here. In chapter 3, verse 10, it says that, adjoining opposite his house. So this man was building opposite his house. The end of verse 12 says that these repairs next to the section with the help of his daughter. So he's out there with his family, with his children. And looking down at verse 17, and he just starts to repeat this phrase. Next to him, the repairs were made by the Levites. Verse 18, next to him, the repairs were made by their fellow Levites. Verse 19, next to him, Ezer, the son of Jeshua, ruler of Mizpah, repaired another section. Verse 20, next to him. Verse 21, next to him. Verse 22, the repairs next to him were made by the priests. Many of them, it says right there in verse 23, beyond them, Benjamin and Hashub made repairs in front of their house. And next to them, so you get this pattern. What was his strategy? How did he do this? He involved everyone in the work. Everyone got involved in the rebuilding of the walls. How do you do something in just 22 days? You do it by involving everyone possible in the work, not just a few. Not just he and his team. There's no way he would have done it. And sometimes, I got to tell you, sometimes delegating isn't easy for everyone. Too many times I do too much because I don't delegate as I should. So what are some reasons why you might not delegate? One is superiority complex, right? You're thinking that you can do it better. Sometimes we do things because we actually want the recognition. Sometimes we just want to be able to tell other people, or to be able to say that we did it alone and that they didn't help us. Sometimes we're just afraid to ask, to bother people. We think they don't have time. We assume we know what their answer is going to be before we even ask them. And a lot of times you do something on your own, and then people will come and say, "Why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you ask me to give you a hand? I would have helped you with this." So Nehemiah doesn't have a problem with that. Those of us that do, we need to grow and become better at that. But Nehemiah doesn't have a problem in sharing the responsibility. He knows it's actually the smart thing to do. There's no way he can do this on his own. He'll just be frustrated. And the other thing is, when everyone's working, everyone gets encouraged, right? When everyone is working together, like if the whole family goes out and is outside doing yard work, even if the kids don't want to be out there, when everybody's doing it together, that's encouraging to see the whole family participating, to see those you love helping you out. When the church does something, when there's something going on and the whole church gets involved. What gets frustrating is when only some are carrying the load and doing the majority of the work. When it's at home, when it's at work, right? Where we're like, this person doesn't lift a finger, this person isn't carrying their weight, and they get this frustration. So it's important, and Nehemiah knew that. We've got to get other people involved. And if you're not the main leader, if you're part of the team, then you need to understand how important it is. Every single person that puts their hands to the work ends up encouraging the person next to them. And the beautiful thing is that when the way he got them all kind of standing shoulder to shoulder, there were no gaps. Everyone was taking a part in the work. There's a phrase that we've been saying in our church, in the Christian Missionary Alliance, all of Jesus for all the world, right? All that Jesus is for all of the world will take all of us, right? It can't just be one or a few or the pastors. It's going to take everyone. All of Jesus, or all the world for all of Jesus for all the world. It's going to take all of the church. So, and another thing I realized too, that there are times that at this moment, how did they get it done in 52 days? They didn't multitask. Multitasking is something that we have learned to do very well. But there are times when you need to stop everything else that you're doing and put all your attention on one thing and get that one thing done. There's a moment in the Bourne movies, the Jason Bourne movies, where he's given these dates, a birth date, and they're trying to figure out what it means. So the guy goes into the CIA room where all these analysts are trying to figure out where Jason Bourne is and what he's doing next, and he says, "Stop everything you're doing. New assignment." And he reads off these numbers. What do they mean? And everyone starts focusing on what could these numbers mean. Here in Nehemiah, there is one objective. He has everyone in the city working on this. Not on their own time, not when they get a chance. He is running things. He's coordinating. He's got everybody doing their part, everybody standing next to each other. And there's a sense to where, they're working full days, and it's like, okay, nothing else matters until the wall is built. Well, what are the things in your life that are that important? What are the things that are so important in your life that you, not just that you want to see happen, but need to happen, that are urgent? And obviously we think about our children or about a career or about our child. What is the thing, your health, that is so urgent that it needs everything else to stop? It needs to become a priority. And you need to get started on it, focusing on it. What are the things you need to stop and say, okay, this is it. This is my one thing. Right now, this is something that I need to make a priority and focus on. And then also, how can you bring other people in to be a part of that and not do it alone? Because even if you, this is where I got to put my time. This is where I got to focus on right now. I got to do this. But you make the mistake of trying to do it alone. Then you're going to burn out. So I want you to think about that. What are the things you can be doing, ways that you can connect with others to get done the things right now that are the main things that need to be done and worked on in your life. So think about that, and we'll see you guys next time as we get into Nehemiah chapter 4. God bless.